Hey guys, it's Coach KJ. I'm sitting here with the Michael Horniak from Persephone High and Debbie. Can you see? My classmate Debbie. And Mike and I are over here. We're talking about just some different things with regards to mental health, moving forward, challenges that we face in life. And one of the things he was talking about was
unrealized potential?
Right, and tell me a little bit about it. What is it?
Well, you know what? I think what happens with a lot of people is that they are often stereotyped or told by the parents that they're going to be this, this, and this. Okay? And a lot of people are able to fulfill that obligation. But if your life, if you lose a parent or something happens, it throws you off. And what happens, the one thing that you love, for me, was baseball. I had back problems. And I forgot about it. I forgot all about baseball. I forgot all about it until it was revived in me when I became an addict. And I realized I had unrealized potential. If I would have gone down that course, I had a scholarship. If I would have stuck with that, I probably would have had a better chance of managing the addiction as opposed to not managing the addiction with pain, suffering, heartache, and believing that I let everybody down. And that's one thing with AA as well. If you're an addict, you have an issue where if someone dies in your family, like my father did, I was 10, I took personal accountability and responsibility for that guilt. I thought it was my fault. It was my fault. How come I couldn't do anything to save my father? And so that's where the roots of my up and down, you know, I was grumpy, I was this, I was that, ranges of emotions. And what I realized was right now I am who I am. I have children.
So wait, let me ask something. The up and down emotions. What did alcohol do to that the up and down emotions?
Really what happens is you know that with alcohol, there's also a dual diagnosis with bipolar disorder. Okay. So when you start drinking, it puts you on a high, okay? And you're really called dyseuphoric, okay, as opposed to euphoric. You get so euphoric, okay, that you're running all around. People think you're the greatest guy. I was in sales. I was doing this. I was doing that. But really, what ends up happening is you then hit the bottom once you go home from the road or wherever you're at, okay? And when you hit the bottom is much worse than the top. The top lasts for 3-4 weeks at a time. The bottom, you're down for 5 or 6 months. So,
Michael, help me understand. The alcohol, where does that come in? Does the alcohol come in at the top or at the bottom? When does the drinking come in?
The alcohol typically comes in at the top.
Okay, so when you're doing great, you're drinking.
Yes.
So when you're not doing great, you're not drinking.
Yes, but in some instances, I was drinking anyway.
So okay. Do you perceive that alcohol as the thing that makes you better?
Yes, it's called liquid courage.
Liquid courage. So the liquid makes you popular.
Exactly.
Makes you successful in sales.
It takes away the insecurity that you have about yourself of not having self-worth because somebody died and you couldn't control it. And so you think you can control you by putting a substance in your body that helps you become something that you're not, that you're really not, but it benefits you in your career.
So where does the unrealized potential come in?
The unrealized potential comes in is when what happened to me was I got a Division III scholarship to a college for my first year. And I then slipped out another disc before going to college. And I had to tell the coach that I could not play. And it was devastating. I had to go back and I had to transfer. And so the unrealized potential was, well, I could have played on a Division III team who was really good. And now, what am I going to do? So you replace the
what am I going to do?
Yeah, the event, like baseball, with alcohol.
Okay.
So your unrealized potential turns into a nightmare unless you can take your abilities and move them elsewhere in a constructive manner.
So, superstar baseball player, right? Your back goes out. You drink, superstar salesman. You don't drink. Do your sales go down when you don't drink?
Since I've been sober, I don't think I've had a great year in sales at all. And plus the times have changed. We were doing a lot of crazy stuff in the 1990s and 2000s that you can't do today.
I'm too young, don't tell me.
No, you're not. Because we were all there and we were doing stuff where, you know, you would take somebody out, buy them drinks, buy them dinner, you'd be out all night, and guess what? The next day, you'd go see them, and they'd sign off on an $80,000 order.
Oh my goodness, I didn't have that job.
Yeah.
I need to meet some more people.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I just want to ask you, with regards to the unrealized potential, the alcoholism, the superstar sales, not so decent sales, was there something in between as it relates to alcohol that caused you to say, hey, look, this is too much, I can't do this anymore?
Well, I can tell you it was forced. I went out and told my wife I was going to Home Depot to buy a hammer. Okay. She's like, what are you talking about? You have 1 million hammers down there. I said, no, I'm going to go buy the hammer. I go to a place, 2 people that own the place, and I bang down a certain amount of beers. I go to Home Depot. I get the
hammer.
The hammer. I then go back there, drink 2 more beers with them. So I probably drank like 11 beers. And what ends up occurring is I don't have my lights on. That's a big telltale sign of somebody who's drunk. Get stopped by the police, and they are just hammering me. They got the lights on, they got everything on. I had this medication in the back of my car. I told them that I believe that enhanced my situation, and they kind of bought into it a little bit, but they said, look, we got 2 choices for you. You can either, this is only 2 miles from my house, by the way. You can either blow into the breathalyzer down at the station, or we can call your wife.
Breathalyzer. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. So what they did was they called my wife, and my wife just screamed at me the whole 2 miles on the way home. And that's when I went into AA. I knew it. I knew I needed to be there, but that was my wake-up call. My wife said, you're screwing up. You're screwing everything up. You're screwing up the family. You're drinking. My wife
did you see yourself screwing up these things, or did the alcohol mask it for you? So, like, as long as you were drinking, you couldn't see, you know, the depth of the problem? Is that what it did for you?
The alcohol is a masking agent, and that's why they call it liquid courage. Once you have a couple drinks in you, you don't think there's anything wrong.
Is that why white people dance when they have music? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's what white people do. They can't dance. People don't realize, Eric Clapton once said something very interesting. Eric Clapton was a major heroin and coke addict. He kicked the habit. The last thing that he couldn't kick was alcohol. He said that alcohol was the most addictive drug that he ever had. He finally kicked it about 15, 18 years ago, and he has rehab centers. Somebody like Ringo Starr, the same thing. All of these rock stars that are alive today, they stopped drinking and they stopped doing drugs. The rest of them are dead.
Wow.
So
I know that. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I know that when I was in sales in the 90s, didn't get a chance to do all the things that you got a chance to do. But I do know that when people would drink, when my clients would drink, I always drank orange juice and cranberry juice and pretended like it was alcohol. But when my clients would drink, they were more. They would tell you everything, anything and everything that you wanted to know that you couldn't get out of them during the regular sales call. I would give them a drink or 2, And once I got a couple of drinks in them, I would get enough to come back and sign the contract.
Right.
I noticed that once again they were more social. They were more engaging once they had alcohol. And at that time, I didn't really drink, so I observed it as an outsider. You know, just how much courage alcohol gave individuals. It was amazing to see the difference between how they came into the room and how they actually exited.
And you were out on the road doing this?
No, I worked for a hotel. So because I worked for a hotel, I was basically doing things
at
the hotel. So if anyone got inebriated or did not feel comfortable because I worked for a hotel, they could always spend the night in the hotel. You know, if we felt uncomfortable with it. So.
See, what we used to do is travel. And believe it or not, the men were just as bad as the women. When you got drunk, and I never did it because I had a system, but a lot of people be taking off their rings. And this is all due to alcohol.
Wow.
And doing stuff.
Wow.
And it was not a good thing.
Yeah. So. Debbie, have you experienced anything or seen anything with regards to alcoholism and drinking or anything like that in the past? Anything you'd like to share?
No.
No. I just didn't want to leave Debbie out.
I'm like, no,
Yeah,
I don't have anything to say about it.
So really, that was really in the 1990s. That was a big benchmark because people had unlimited travel expense budgets, and you could go out 5 nights a week, and you could literally drink. You know, I had nights where I drank like 15 drinks, 15, and then at the end of my tenure, I was drinking 18 beers a day.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. And I was doing it in phases where I'd get up in the morning, I'd be okay. I'd go out for lunch, I'd have 6 beers. Then I'd tell my wife I was going to go meet a friend for a drink. I'd have 6 beers. And then I'd go down the basement, pretend like I was doing something, and I had beer down there.
How did you know you got to the point where it's too much? How did you know 18 was too much? Like, what did you, looking back on it, what do you think was too much? Was 6 too much, 12 too much, 18 too much?
1 drink for an alcoholic and you're drunk. That's what they call it. 1 drink drunk. If you pick up a drink, you're drunk. Because you never know what's going to be 16, 18, 20 beers. I just knew that I was drinking way too much. So I didn't quantify it by the amount of alcohol I drank. I just knew that from my family history and what I was doing, okay, I was not a functioning individual. I started to become sub-functional. And when you do that, you realize, and your wife calls that to your attention. Now, she never really knew that I had a problem. She was kind of oblivious to it. But we were going out.
How was she oblivious to it if you, so she, okay, because she didn't know about the 6 downstairs. But she.
Well, I think that she knew that I was drinking, but not to the level of what I just reported to you.
So,
no, yeah.
So did you ever try to hide the beer cans? Like, did you ever come to a point where you're like, look, if she realizes it's 18, you know, she'll have a fit. So I'll let her see 6 cans, but I'll hide 10.
Well, what you would do is you'd come up with all types of scenarios. That's what a good alcoholic does.
Okay.
So you would take 6, put it in the trash. She was upstairs at night, you put it in the trash. You would either take a certain amount that you drank, take it, put it in your car, put it in the dumpster. You had all different types of scenarios
to hide the
where
cans.
You were hiding out and lying to everybody, but lying most to yourself. You see, when you're an alcoholic, you become very diabolical, okay? And you know what you can and can't get away with until you get caught. And that's your aha moment. Okay, some people will stop on their own, but a lot of people will get a DUI. Okay, sometimes people will get 2 DUIs. I know guys that had 3 DUIs, lost their license for 10 years. But they were able to turn it around, go to AA or go to a program, and stop drinking. So what we do is, in our program, we don't turn anybody away. Because we know that they were just like us, and they're the most important person in the room. because we have to help them. If they choose not to get the help, there's nothing we can do. If they have something called willingness, right? Okay, and acceptance, they're accepting where they're at, then we help them.
Wow. So let me ask you this. Just going back to the unrealized potential really quickly. Do you think now you're realizing your potential?
Well, I think I was, and then I had an issue with my family and my marriage.
So
and now I think I am starting to understand it, because my unrealized potential was also steeped in, I worked for Channel 9 News for 10 years. I was a broadcast journalist. I could have been a reporter and an announcer. I did some announcing for some of my son's games. People were like, oh my God, who is this guy? So that is a part of my unrealized potential as well. Now, to pursue that, it's difficult.
do you want to pursue it?
I don't know. I don't know, because I don't know if I have the mental wherewithal, because I face some suffering and pain, and I really have to make sure my kids are good before I do anything like that. So it's a combo that you want to do it, but you can't now sacrifice the love that you have for your kids because they need you. So you have to make a decision. Well, maybe my unrealized potential is my kids. You know?
Right. Because if it shifted from baseball to journalism, maybe now it's shifting to kids and grandkids. So,
I think so. Yeah, you good?
I was just going to say, I just wanted to say thank you so much, Michael, for all the insight that you provided.
Not a problem.
About unrealized potential, about moving forward, about Alcohol Anonymous.
Yeah, and again, I would suggest, everybody kind of frowns upon AA. If you do it the right way, there's lots of programs where the people are exercising, they're doing different things. You gotta change the way you think, okay? Alcohol is the symptom, okay? But it's changing the way you think, very much like you do. It's about really trying to let go, let God, and be positive. If you cannot be positive in life, guess what? You're stuck there in your unrealized potential, and you're probably going to drink again. Thank you so much.
Wow. Can you, is the Alcoholics Anonymous program anonymous? So can somebody call and say, I do this, and, you know, am I an alcoholic? Or do I have
yeah, what they basically do is it's kind of by referral. Mm-hmm. So somebody might say, hey, listen, I got a buddy of mine, and he's really kind of whacked out. Can you talk to him? You sit down with the guy. I haven't done it recently, because a lot of people today think they have faux problems. And faux problems mean that they think everything you do is immediate. You can take a pill, right?
Okay.
You can do what? Everything is automatic. This program is not automatic. It's got to sink in. It's got to be a lifestyle choice. And when it's a lifestyle choice, listen, I'm not good all the time. I'm very moody. But one of the things is that you gotta talk to other people. Alcoholics Anonymous doesn't work texting. Texting, I believe, is hurting basic forms of communication where people can relate to one another. When I look at you right now, I'm texting you, I look at your eyes, I look at your hair, and I'm going, oh my God, there's Kelly. And you know what? It makes me, I wouldn't say excited, but it makes me feel like, oh my God, look what she's done. But if I'm texting you on Facebook, I have no idea what you're doing.
Right.
You know? So that's the issue too. Alcoholics.
Debbie's agreeing with you.
Yeah.
Debbie's agreeing.
Yes,
She's got the head nod.
agree.
She's got the head nod. So.
Talk, not text.
So, just one other thing I wanted to ask you, Michael, with regards to the, please forgive me, Alcoholics Anonymous. You said that somebody will come out and speak with a person.
Yeah,
so
we have a program called Came to Believe.
There we go.
Okay. So Came to Believe is on our website.
Okay.
It is very, very... Came to Believe is on our website, and it's the original way that people practice AA. People actually get stuck on all the steps. And they say, listen, I did my 4th step, it took me 2 years. You should be able to do all your steps in a weekend. Okay?
None like a little pressure.
It's not, because people feel good because they're being, it's a good guidepost. But came to believe, trying to get these things going, move forward, and get more people involved in this program.
Excellent, excellent. Michael, thank you so much for your insight on everything. A lot of different things that you've given us today with regards to family and unrealized potential. I'm going to keep using that because that was very powerful to me. About Alcoholics Anonymous, how to move forward, about vision, dreams, family, so much. So I thank you so much for your story of discovery and the story of recovery.
Thank you.
Take care.